It's been a difficult day. Well, Luke's half birthday always is. He'd have been 18 and a half, a fully grown man. The guests are ever dwindling. Well, none of his friends come now. It's mainly just close family. I mean, the Queen has 2 birthdays. Why can't Luke? And he loved birthdays and Christmas, when he was rather fond of Easter too. He loved Easter eggs and any kind of chocolate. I can't eat a toffee crisp without thinking about him. I bought him a lovely new record player for his room, so we can play his favourite music. He likes some of the old tunes, you know. Not that he would ever have told his friends. Oh, and Gerald has made a lovely new nameplate for his bedroom door. Polished it up so it's lovely and shiny. Very good with his hands, Gerald. Luke loved watching his dad make things. I think it had a calming effect on him. Oh, and I got myself this. We put Luke's one on his coffin, but I kept the helmet, the elbow and knee pads, and I made a note of the make. So I thought I'd give myself 6 months, and then on his 19th birthday, I'd go to the skate park under the flyover and give it a try. Oh, how Luke would have laughed. Daft, Mum, he would have said. Except there would have been a swear word in there somewhere. I know people think I am daft about this sort of thing, but, well, people forget. And we can't have that, can we? That's why we celebrate his birthday every 6 months. I mean, a lot can happen in a year, and people do forget about other people, especially when they're not around, like my Luke. I changed his bedclothes today. Well, the sheets were starting to smell a bit musty. And it is his half-year birthday after all. We have to be careful with the candles. Well, they could be a fire hazard. But Gerald has got some nice fireproof material to put underneath them. He suggested getting some of those battery ones, but well, I like the way the real ones reflect in the glass of the photographs. And I put some fresh flowers in his room too. And in the summer house where it happened. Some people say he was experimenting, you know, sexually. But I just think he must have been really rather upset about something to have done that. Well, with the plastic bag and everything. There was quite a mess in there. And I know we should have left it as it was for the police, but I just felt it was only right to cover his modesty up. Just what Luke would have wanted. I kept his Facebook page for a while so I could get to know his friends better. Gerald said he didn't think that was a very good idea, and as it turned out, he was right. So I closed it down. It was all rather unseemly, to be honest. Anyway, I'm looking forward to trying my hand at skateboarding. It's never really been my sort of thing. I'm more a gentle swim and a long walk sort of person, really. But, well, it's never too late to try something new. So here's to a few months of sliding around. It's been a difficult day. Luke's birthday always is. He would have been 19 today. A blossoming young man. So I went skateboarding. Like I said I would. Well, you can't break a promise. Turns out it's not really for me. It's jolly dangerous, that's what it is. Ooh. Doctor says I have a slight dislocation of my shoulder. Apparently, it popped itself back in of its own accord. Oh, 8 hours I waited. But of course, Saturday afternoon. I said to Gerald, it's like the Olympics in here. Look at all these sports injuries. He smiled, as he does. I had that look, you know, off the nurses. Mad old trout. You could see it in their eyes. It was probably the knee pads. Oh, look at me. Forgot I had this thing on. Oh. I thought I'd got the hang of it, you know. There's a slope around the corner up on the industrial estate. Well, there's not much industry there now, which is why I thought that would be a good place to practice. Just a few yards at a time, you know, gently does it. After a few months, I could do the whole thing. I became quite a celebrity with the local workforce. One very kind lady brought me out a cup of tea. Too much milk. Shame. So Gerald built me a half pipe in the garden. I watched him make it, the way Luke would have done. Only yay high, but I could rock back and forth on there for ages. No tricks, unfortunately, but I thought, well, I'd get to those. Oh, Gerald, he's been a real boon. Never questions any of my madcap ideas, just plays along with them. Oh, what a darling he is. I thought if I could just ride from one side of the half pipe to the other, in the skate park, under the flyover, then I would have done Luke proud. He loved it there, with all his chums. He used to go there every Saturday, in all weathers. So it was a happy coincidence that his birthday fell on a Saturday. I got there about midday. Oh, it was so big. How very grand, I thought. And it was a bit nippy. Well, what do you expect for this time of year? Lou never minded, of course. I just wished that he'd dress a little bit warmer. I used to shudder, him going out in just a flimsy t-shirt, and we'd often have the thermostat up to 20. Oh, only from September, of course. Gerald's very big on small energy bills. Put another jumper on, he says. Anyway, they were all there doing their slappies, slides and slobs. I've been on YouTube, you know. Oh, very impressive. And I imagined how our Luke must have felt with that freedom of being able to do all those clever things. By the time I found the half pipe, I had drawn rather a lot of attention. That's only what I expected. I just ignored it. It's all you can do. There were quite a few rumbling up and down, so I stood and watched for a while. A young man came up to me. "You're Luke's mum," he said. "Yes, that's right," I said. "I'm here for Luke." You could see the look of puzzlement in his eyes. "You do know Luke wasn't much of a rider, right?" he said. "He was more here for that stuff." And he pointed over to a group of youngsters smoking by a wall. "But Luke loves skateboarding," I said. "Yeah, sure," he said. "Luke could pull a trick or two." "I'm here for that." I thought, there's no future in arguing the point. So I made my way over to the edge of the half pipe. I had to fight my way through a forest of tall teenagers, but I made it. I put on Luke's helmet and I announced, "I'm here for Luke Hamilton." And then I looked down. Oh my word. The ground just fell away underneath my feet. I'm sorry to say, I froze to the spot. A few angry insults were thrown, and I just ignored them. And then some rather rude young man said something quite disgusting about my Luke. And that's all I needed to get going. I got down as far as the bottom of the pipe, and then I lost my balance. And that's when I hurt my shoulder. I couldn't even give it another try. The nice young man who I'd spoken to earlier, he came and helped me. The other skateboarders just seemed to think it was all rather funny. But I know my Luke would have been proud, seeing his mum having a go. Gerald came and picked me up and took me to A&E. "You tried," he said. Yes. Yes, I did. It's been a difficult day. Luke would have almost been 19 and a half, almost out of his teenage years and a proper adult. Of course, he'll always be my baby. Silly, aren't we, us mothers? Gerald left today. Oh, I totally understand. It's not easy living with mad Fiona. I've tried, you know. Done all the bereavement classes, still trying. Every Wednesday, 7:30, at the YMCA. How the group laughed when I told them about my skateboarding attempt. "You may laugh," I said, "but you didn't have to sit in A&E for endless hours like Gerald." What a trooper. I went into the garage earlier, tidied up all his little projects. He's got a flat down on Riverside, very modern. Don't think he liked that sort of thing. Anyway, there's no room, so he can't take all his things yet. I think it was this house that did for us in the end. He wanted to sell it, you know, downsize. "Just the two of us now, Fee," he said. "Too many bathrooms and not enough cash flow." Of course, he's right. But it wasn't just our home, was it? It was Luke's. And we can't have someone else sleeping in his bedroom now, can we? Of course, everything Gerald said made perfect sense. A house shouldn't be a mausoleum. I found that quite hurtful, to be honest. Anyway, 25 years of marriage, all gone in a day. He must have had it all planned. Paid the deposit out of his own private account. I didn't see that outgoing. Knew I wouldn't budge, see. It would be a betrayal, and I shan't do it. Then he disappeared into the bedroom and came out with that weekend overnight bag that he likes to use on his business trips. And then he turned on me, quite forcefully. "Luke is dead," he said, as if I didn't know that. "Luke is dead, and so might as well you be." I just kept on reading the paper. I shan't be drawn by such behaviour. And then he left. Spaghetti bolognese for one. It's a bit of a first, really, but, well, one doesn't like to make the effort just for yourself. Luke loved spaghetti bolognese. It's been a difficult day. It's our wedding anniversary. We used to love to pop out to a nice restaurant. Luke used to think we were daft, but then youngsters do. I'm afraid Carluccio's will miss us this year. Gerald was rather fond of their wine list. Quite excellent, he used to say. I used to love to watch him test the nose and then swirl the liquid around his mouth. Silly, isn't it? That'll make your taste buds sing, Fee, he used to say. Oh, I gave a talk. Very brave. At my bereavement group. They know it's not really my sort of thing. Well, Gerald was always more the public speaker. Anyway, I did, and I got a nice round of applause at the end. It was for parents who had lost a child. I explained that the death of my son had almost cost me everything, and I advised them to move on with their lives if they could. It nearly cost me this house, but I clung on by taking in a lodger. She's a trainee doctor up at the university hospital. I've given her my room, and I've taken Luke's. Well, it's nice to give it a bit of an airing. I think Gerald would have approved. Less mausoleum-like. Of course, the candles and the photographs are still here. Oh, they've asked me back to do another group, so I said yes. They do very good scones down at the YMCA. The tea's a little bit off, but, well, it's free. Oh, at the end, a young lady came up and asked me if I'd do an interview for her newspaper. They're doing a feature on parents who'd lost their children when they were teenagers. I told her that her paper had been rather cruel when they ran Luke's story. She said it would be a chance to set things straight. About time, I thought. I think Luke would have appreciated that. Gerald's found a new woman. That didn't take long. I hear she's somewhat younger. So I went to the garage earlier. All those little projects, still there. So I burnt the lot. Had a bonfire out the back. Reminded me of when we used to do fireworks for Luke and have jacket potatoes cooked on the bonfire. Isn't it funny how food cooked outside tastes so much better? Still, Gerald's got a new project now. He can move on without any of the ones he's left here. I went to the grave to tell Luke. He would have been so annoyed with his father. It would have given him a piece of his mind. Still, I said, it's just you and me now, son. And then I came back inside and I had another spaghetti bolognese for one. Well, why not? You've got to live a little.
It's as simple as that. The head teacher broke up our protest and said we had to get to PE. I do miss McDonald's. Vi måste rädda planeten. Vuxna är idioter. We must save the planet and upset idiots in Swedish.